Okay, so Wally, I have a question, right? Do you think a lady has the right to decide when to abstain from sex, even though she's not a virgin anymore?
Ask that question one more time.
Okay, so you hear a lot of guys say stuff like, "Oh, why are you trying to wait or abstain from sex? You're
Mm-hmm.
not a virgin,"
Right.
and it's like they give more priority and respect to women that are virgins, and they'll be
Right.
like, "Okay, yeah, I'll be celibate with you."
Okay.
Right, because you're a virgin.
Right.
But then when you decide to be celibate and you're not a virgin, then they'll be like, well, you've let other guys hit it. Like, why are you now suddenly trying to be celibate with me? And then they pull away just because they feel like, well,
You rejected them.
no, because you've done it with other people. You're no longer a virgin. So why suddenly overnight now, maybe you found Christ or whatever, you now want to be celibate with them? And then at that point, they're like, nope, and that same guy will be okay with being celibate with a virgin instead. And so it's like,
that's a
why though? Like, why? A woman should have, I feel like a woman should have total control of when she wants to and does not want to have sex, right? And it should not matter to the guy in terms of whether or not, she's had it previously. So should that really influence how things should move forward with them in their own relationship?
So is this like a married are they married or
No, no,
just like
single, like just dating.
dating
So
and
it's like, okay, I meet a guy now, right?
Right.
And I'm like, well, I'm not a virgin, but now I want to be
Right.
abstinent in my relationship. I want to abstain.
right,
I want to be celibate. And then
right.
he's
And
like,
then he pulls away because you want to be celibate.
because in his mind, it's like, oh, you're not a virgin now. So
Right,
why are
right.
you now saying you want to wait?
It's rubbish. And those kind of guys what I gotta say about that is those kind of guys you gotta stay away from. Any like woman that comes to realize, okay, even though they have had sex in the past with God knows how many guys, it doesn't matter. As long as they have come to realization and say, okay, I want to be celibate now. I've made my mistakes. I repented, and I really want to focus. I'm purpose driven. I want to focus on my finances. I want to focus on my life.
Mm-hmm.
That is a very good thing because at that time, the woman has come to realize that, okay, look, my past is my past. I want to move on and I want to do better things. And let's say you meet a guy, or yeah, like for example, like what you just said, the guy, you have you have a boyfriend, and he's asking you like, okay, let's do it, let's have sex, and then you're like, no, like I want to be celibate now. That kind of guy is a really crazy guy. First, first of all, you shouldn't even be with a kind of guy like that, you know, because guys that have that kind of mentality, they only want you because of sex.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're pulling away because you're denying them sex, then they have a lot of issues that they need to fix.
Mm-hmm.
That should already tell a female that that kind of guy is not husband material.
Mm-hmm.
Period. He has some sexual issues. He has some lusting issues. And he needs to deal with that. Because the minute you entangle yourself with that person, then you're creating a new soul tie. That thing, that celibacy that you're trying to achieve, or automatically it's broken already. So you have to start from the jump. You have to start from zero.
So what's the boundaries? Like, what kind of boundaries are you expected to set in that relationship? Because then you hear people like go, "Oh, I'm not having sex, but then we can do other stuff."
Other
So
stuff
it's
like what?
other stuff like making out, other stuff like. So it's like, what is the boundary? Because a lot of times this is real life. Like this is real life scenarios. Now you hear guys say things like, "Well, I'll wait with you, but then
Right.
you're not gonna touch on me all through the waiting season, right? You're gonna still give me."
If
some
a guy can't wait for you at all,
waiting for you in terms of not having that
like
penetration, right?
if
But
a
then
guy,
they want to actually like do some other stuff. So it's like
okay, other stuff.
the-
You gotta be specific. The other stuff like what?
other stuff.
Tongue kissing, touching you in the boobs and the butt.
Like really like making out,
Making
or
out,
even
okay.
some people go as far as even trying to like, give head, receive head, and then it's like, well, but they're not going all the way. So in that kind of situation, right? Is that still abstaining? Is that still
That is
celibacy?
definitely not celibacy, and that is not abstaining. Period.
Mm.
Because the Bible makes it clear.
Mm-hmm.
Fornication is fornication.
Fornication is when you
Jesus,
have. Well, is it
no, no,
fornication
no, no, no.
when
You
you
got
have sex itself? So this one, no, there's no sex. Is what
Can
you
I?
do to lead to sex.
Can I just prove myself?
Okay.
Jesus said that a man has already committed adultery when he has sex with a female in his
In
mind.
his mind.
So I could be here with you right now and I could be looking at you and like, yo, like in my mind, I have already undressed you. I'm looking at your boobs, I'm looking at your butt, I'm looking at your private areas in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I have already committed fornication. And if I was married, I have already committed adultery. So it starts from here. I don't even have to touch you to sin against you sexually. It starts from the mind.
Right.
Right? So if a woman says, I want to be celibate, and you're still giving a guy head, or you're still touching a guy, or you're still allowing a guy to touch you sexually, you have already broken the celibacy. Period. There's no argument. You can't say that you want to be celibate and you're still, you have to follow the principles of God. When you look at a man and you lust, you have already committed adultery in your mind. You have already fornicated in your mind. So if you're doing it up here, that's it. You've crossed the line already. You know what I mean? But yes, we all have sexual urges. Sometimes we do fantasize. We do still think about sexual things, right? But the right thing to do, right? If you struggle with those thoughts, God knows your heart. Just say, God, I repent. Redirect my thoughts on things that are more positive. Right. Things that are more productive. Things that would feed my spirit. God, I repent. I draw my mind away from sexual thoughts. Because you said that already. If I look at a man or if I look at a woman sexually in my mind, I have already sinned. And that is a sin. Right? So, yeah, like if you want to be celibate, if you want to be celibate, if you want to be celibate, you have to do it completely. You cannot allow a guy to touch you. You cannot give head. You cannot touch your boobs. He cannot touch you sexually. She cannot touch him sexually. No contact.
So in that scenario right now that you just gave, right?
Right.
How long do you think it should take before people commit? Like get married for real?
It depends on the couples. It depends.
1 year is 1 year enough for you to tell whether or not you want to be with somebody? Can you wait that long? 1 year.
I can't generally speak for everybody, but usually it shouldn't take you more than a year. As a guy.
But guys are the ones that like stringing women along for years.
Like I said, those you gotta differentiate. You have to differentiate guys that are not ready and guys that are really ready. Godly man and ungodly man. So are you looking for a godly man or are you looking for an ungodly man? So you really have to set your standards and really know whom you're going to submit to as a wife. You have to know, is this guy capable? Is he ready? And a man that is truly ready, he's going to have everything ready. He may not be so rich, but he's going to be ready to take care of you. Of course, financially, emotionally, physically, spiritually, in other aspects of life. A guy doesn't have to be there financially yet. You know what I mean? Yeah. But as long as he's ambitious and he has, a good work ethic, and he's purpose driven and he's always working, he's always on his purpose, he's always putting in his best, that's good. You have to differentiate that guy from an ungodly guy. A guy that just wants you for sex, a guy that just wants to sleep with you or just want to touch you, a guy that cannot wait for you sexually, it's not the right guy for you. Of course, he might come to you and say, look, man, a blessing, you're so beautiful. Man, sometimes I just feel like undressing you. Sometimes I just feel like having sex with you. Okay, it's okay for him to communicate his sexual feelings to you. But again, if he says, yo, blessing, you're so beautiful. Sometimes I feel like having sex with you, but I know deep down in my heart that I still have to wait. And I respect you so much as a woman and as my wife. because I love you and I respect you so much, I will wait, despite of my sexual desires for you. That's the kind of man that you want to be with, because he's being honest with you. You know, he's letting you know how sexually attracted he is to you. And of course, you would want that. Any woman would want a guy, a man,
attractive.
right, to find her so very attractive, so very beautiful, right? But you know, he still has self control. He has self control, and he's being patient,
Right.
and he's being understanding. So that's the kind of guy that any woman should be looking at and should be looking forward to marrying.
I think we're in agreement on this
Yeah,
one.
of course we are. We are. We are.
So yeah, I agree
Yeah,
with you.
yeah, yeah.
Definitely. I do.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it.